Professor V. Muralidhar is serving as head, Department of Mathematics, Mohammed Satak College of Arts and Science, Chennai. He has 23 years of teaching experience. He has attended 3 international and 5 national conferences. He was a resource person at the Mohammed Satak Teachers Training College in Chennai in 2012, where he spoke on History of Mathematical Genius Ramanujan. He was elected Academic Counselor, University of Madras during 2003-06. He has attended the Orientation and Refresher courses at the Academic Staff College, University of Madras. He specializes in stochastic modeling and has rich experience in discrete mathematics, operations research, statistical methods, and numerical analysis.
Welcome to UGC lecture series. Today in this presentation, we start with the continuation of problems based on probability theory. In the last session, we have seen addition theorem of probability and multiplication theorem of probability. So, in this we continue with the problems based on probability. First one, given probability of A equal to 1 by 3, P of B is equal to 1 by 4 and P of A into B is 1 by 6. Find the values of the conditional probabilities P of A by B, P of A dash into B, P of A dash into B dash. So, first one, conditional probability, if you see the basic definition, P of A by B is defined as P of A B divided by P of B. So, since P of A B is given to be 1 by 6, P of B is given to be 1 by 4, we get the required value to be 1 by 6 by 1 by 4, that is 2 by 3. Second one is P of A dash into B dash. So, here it is defined as P of A intersection B or P of B minus P of A into B. So, P of B is given to be 1 by 4 and P of A into B is 1 by 6. You should take LCM here. So, we get 1 by 12. Next one, P of A dash into B dash. So, P of A dash into B dash is, we have to use the De Morgan law, where you can write this as 1 minus P of A union B, and by addition theorem this P of A union B is given by P of A plus P of B minus P of A into B. Now, we are given P of A to be 1 by 3, P of B to be 1 by 4 and P of A into B we got to be 1 by 6. So, if you simplify, you get 7 by 12. Second problem, see in this an investment consultant predicts that the odds against the price of a certain stock will go up during the next week are 2:1 and the odds in favor of the price remaining the same are 1:3. What is the probability that the price of the stock will go down during the next week? So, in this we use the principle of your odds against and odds favor with respect to the proportionate. Let A be the event that stock price will go up, B is the event that the stock price will remain same, and he has given P of A to be, since it is 2:1, we got P of A to be 1 by 1 plus 2. So, it is 1 by 3 and the second one P of B is 1 divided by 1 plus 3. So, we are getting 1 by 4. Now, P of A union B means it is a probability that the stock price will either go up or it remains the same. Since both of them are mutually exclusive, we got their union to be P of A plus P of B, and P of A is 1 by 3, P of B is given to be 1 by 4. So, once you take LCM, we are going to get 7 by 12, and so probability of a stock price which will go down is nothing but probability of complement of intersection of A and B, that is A dash into B dash. So, which is given to be 1 minus P of A union B, and P of A union B just now we got, which is 7 by 12. So, if you take LCM, you get 12 minus 7 divided by 12, hence it is 5 by 12. Third problem, two persons A and B, they fire at a target independently and they have a probability of 0.65 and 0.72 respectively of hitting the target. Find the probability that the target is destroyed. So, in this type of problems, you take A and B to be the event that your target is hit by the two persons A and B respectively. That means your P of A is given to be 0.65, P of B is given to be 0.72, and P of A intersection B, that is probability that both of them hits the target, that is given by P of A into B. Since A and B are doing independently, probability of A into B will be P of A into P of B. So, when you are substituting in this, P of A 0.65 plus P of B is 0.72 minus P of AB will be 0.65 into 0.72. So, on simplifying, we get the probability that target destroyed to be 0.902. Now, the next one is a bag contains 5 white and 3 black balls, and 2 balls are drawn at random one after other without replacement. Find the probability that both the balls drawn are black balls. So, whenever you get such a problem, you can solve it by taking the probability of drawing a black ball in the first attempt, and the number of black balls is 3 and the total number of balls is 3 plus 5. So, we get 3 by 8. Probability of drawing second ball given that first ball drawn is black. See, this is a conditional probability, and this you can determine by taking 2 divided by 2 plus 5. Hence, probability of drawing second ball to be black is given by 2 by 7. Now, probability that both the balls are drawn black is given by P of A into B. Since both of them are depending, we can write this by multiplication theorem. P of AB can be written as P of A into P of B by A, and P of A we got it to be 3 by 8, P of B by A we got to be 2 by 7. Hence, if we multiply, you are going to get 6 by 8 into 7, that is 56. So, if you simplify, you get 3 by 28. So, this is a required probability that both the balls which are drawn are black balls. Now, let us move to the next important concept, which is called Bayes theorem. See, this Bayes theorem is actually based on the conditional probability. So, here if I take A1, A2, A3 etc. to be n mutually exclusive and exhaustive events, and B is some arbitrary event which is nothing but a subset of A1 union A2 union etc. An, and if such that your P of B is greater than 0, and if the conditional probabilities P of B by A1, P of B by A2 etc. P of B by An exist, then we got a P of Ai by B given by your Bayes theorem. That is, P of Ai by B is given by P of Ai into P of B by Ai divided by sigma P of Ai into P of B by Ai, where I runs summation runs over from 1 to n, and this is true for each of the events 1, 2, 3 etc. up to n. So, this theorem is based on the conditional probabilities, where we have more application in the decision theory, and some of its important properties are: first one, Bayes theorem is based on conditional probabilities with certain sample information. The probabilities of P of Ai, they are called priori probabilities, and the expression P of B equal to sigma P of B by Ai into P of Ai, where I runs from 1 to n, is called your rule of elimination, or we also call it as the rule of total probability. And how you prove this Bayes theorem? Because this has got more significance with respect to applications. So, here first of all, P of B into Ai, we know by multiplication theorem it can be written as P of B by Ai into P of A, or I can also write P of Ai by B into P of B. That means, P of B is unconditional probability, but P of Ai by B is a conditional probability. Similarly, P of B by Ai is conditional and P of Ai is unconditional probability. So, I can equate to both of them for this P of B into Ai. Also, your B is the event which depends on each of the events A1, A2 etc. An. Therefore, if B is mutually exclusive, B into A1, B into A2 etc. B into An, they are also mutually exclusive. So, if we take probability of their union, it is going to be sum of their probabilities, that is P of B into A1, P of B into A2 etc. P of B into An, and by multiplication theorem I can write each of this P of B into Ai as P of B by A1 into P of A1, second one P of B by A2 into P of B by P of A2. Similarly, P of B by An into P of An, and you can write this overall as summation of P of B by Ai into P of Ai, where I varies from 1 to n. And using this second equation in the first one, we get P of Ai by B is given by P of B by Ai into P of Ai divided by P of B, and P of B we already got from second equation, which is to be replaced by sigma P of B by Ai into P of Ai, where I runs over from 1 to n. So, this is a simple proof for the given Bayes theorem. Now, let us move to some simple problems based on the applications of Bayes theorem. And here first problem, you have got a problem based on a manufacturing company. See, in a bolt factory there are 3 missions A, B and C, which manufacture respectively 25%, 35% and 40% of their total output. Of their output, 5%, 4% and 2% are defective bolts. A bolt is drawn at random from the product and is found to be defective. The question is, what are the probabilities that it was manufactured by the mission A, mission B and mission C respectively. See, in this problem if you see, this 5%, 4%, 2%, they are given to be the defective bolts in each of the corresponding missions A, B and C respectively. See, in this case these are the conditional probabilities of defectiveness, whereas your mission is fixed. But in the question you are required to determine probability that getting a defective bolt and that it is drawn from the mission A, mission B and mission C respectively. See, in this conditional probability, the context is to determine the probability or chance with respect to the type of the mission that we are getting. Now, let us move to the simple proof of the given problem. So, you take P of Ai to be probability of manufacturing each of the bolt, that is I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2 and I is equal to 3. That means, P of A1 will be 25%, 25 by 100. So, we get 0.25, P of A2 35%, 0.35, P of A3 40% of their output. So, 0.40. Now, since B is arbitrary event, you take B to be the defectiveness of the bolt. So, P of B is probability of getting defective bolt, and P of B by Ai probability of getting a defective bolt and that it is from the mission Ai. See, here you are getting probability with respect to the defectiveness, whereas your mission is fixed. So, here you got a mission to be P of B by A1, P of B by A2, P of B by A3, and he has given that P of B by A1 probability of getting a defective bolt from the first mission, that is 5%. So, we get 5 by 100 0.05, whereas for the second mission P of B by A2 the defectiveness is 4%. So, it is 0.04, and third one P of B by A3 0.02, and by Bayes theorem we can write P of A1 by B to be given to be P of A1 into P of B by A1 divided by summation of P of Ai into P of B by Ai, where I runs over from 1 to 3. And if you substitute these probability values, you are going to get the value of conditional probability of P of A1 by B to be 0.3623. Now, you can determine this similarly for second and third mission. See, if we take second mission P of A2 by B, it is given by P of A2 into P of B by A2 divided by the summation P of Ai into B by Ai. See, in all these 3 cases the denominator is the same, only the numerator will be changing, and in this case second case P of A2 is 0.35, P of B by A2 is 0.04. So, you substitute in this, your value P of A2 by B is given to be 0.405. That means, this gives probability of getting a defective bolt and that it is manufactured from the mission B. And third one P of A3 by B, the numerator is changing P of A3 into B by A3, but the denominator is same. So, we get 0.40 into 0.02 divided by the total summation, which is 0.0345. Hence, the value is going to be 0.231. So, in the second problem, there are 3 urns containing 3 red, 3 white, 2 red and 4 black balls. Another second urn, 2 white, 3 red and 5 black balls, and third urn we have 3 white, 4 red and 2 black balls respectively. One urn is chosen at random and 3 balls are drawn from it. Out of 3 balls, 2 balls are found to be white and 1 ball is found to be red. What are the probabilities that they are taken from the first urn, second urn and third urn respectively? So, in this problem he has given the A1, A2, A3 to be the 3 events of choosing the first urn, second urn and third urn respectively. So, we take P of Ai to be the probability of choosing each urn A1, A2, A3 respectively. Since there are 3 urns, probability of each of them will be 1 by 3. So, we are given P of A1 to be 1 by 3, P of A2 is 1 by 3 and P of A3 is 1 by 3, and let P of B to be the probability of getting the event of 2 white balls and 1 red ball, and let P of B by A1. See, this is nothing but the conditional probability of getting 2 white ball and 1 red ball from the first urn. So, here the choice is with respect to the type of the balls, and urn is fixed one. Similarly, P of B by A2, P of B by A3 we calculate as follows. In the first case, P of B by A1, since we have 3 white balls, out of which you are choosing 2, this can be done in 3C2 ways. Similarly, out of 2 red balls, 1 red ball can be drawn in 2C1 ways. Since both of them we are doing simultaneously, we are multiplying here. So, we get 3C2 into 2C1, and the total number of balls is going to be 9. Hence, we have out of 9 we are choosing 3. So, the total number of balls drawn is given by 9C3. Hence, the probability of getting 2 white ball and 1 red ball from the first urn is given by 3C2 into 2C1 by 9C3. So, on simplifying we get 6 by 84. Similarly, when you take for the second urn, P of B by A2 is we have got 2C2. Since there are 2 white balls in the second urn, we draw 2 at a time, which can be done in 2C2 ways. Similarly, out of 3 red ball, 1 red ball can be drawn from the second in 3C1 ways, and since both of them are drawn simultaneously, we multiply, and total is going to be 9C3. Hence, the required probability of getting 2 white and 1 red ball from the second urn is given by 2C2 into 3C1 by 9C3. So, on simplifying we get 3 by 120. Similarly, in the third case, P of B by A3, probability of getting 2 white ball and 1 red ball from the third urn. In the third urn, since there are 3 white balls, 2 can be drawn in 3C2 ways, and since there are 4 red balls, 1 red ball can be drawn in 4C1 ways. Hence, the required probability is given by 3C2 into 4C1 divided by 9C3. Hence, we get 12 by 84, and if you use Bayes' theorem, we get P of A1 by B to be P of A1 into P of B by A1 divided by the summation P of AI into P of B by AI, where each I varies from summation from 1 to 3. Hence, we get 1 by 3 P of A1 into P of B by A1 is 6 by 84 divided by, if we take summation of each case, we get 1 by 3 into 6 by 84, 1 by 3 into 3 by 120, 1 by 3 into 12 by 84. So, on taking LCM and simplifying, we get 0.319. So, this is an important applications of Bayes probability. So, similarly, if we take the second case P of A2 by B, it is going to be P of A2 into P of B by A2, where the numerator is changing, but the denominator is same. Numerator we get 1 by 3 into 3 by 120, which is 0.003832, and for the denominator it is 0.0746. So, on simplifying, the required probability is 0.0428. Similarly, if you take P of A3 by B, it is going to be summation. So, numerator P of A3 into B by A3 divided by summation of P of AI into B by AI, where I runs over from 1 to 3. So, numerator 1 by 3 into 12 by 84, we get 0.0476. For the denominator 0.0746. On taking the ratio, we get the required probability to be 0.6380. Now, let us have a small exercise problems which you can practice. First one, in a bolt factory missions A, B and C, they manufacture respectively 20%, 45% and 35% of their total. Out of their output, 3%, 5% and 4% are defective bolt. A bolt is drawn at random from the product and is found to be defective. What are the probabilities that it was manufactured by the missions A, B and C respectively? And he has given the answer to be first case 0.14, second case 0.53, third case 0.33. And in the second problem, there are 3 urns containing 3 white, 1 red ball, 1 black ball, second one 2 white, 3 red and 4 black balls, and third one 1 white, 3 red and 2 black balls which are drawn respectively. One is chosen at random and 2 balls are drawn. Find the of the 2 balls drawn, one is red, the other one is black. What is the probability that it is from the first one? So, this is also based on the Bayes probability. So, your solution is 3 by 25. Now, let us move to second important concept of your probability theory, that is random variables. See, a random variable, it is nothing but the real value which you give for the outcome of any random experiment. See, it is defined as random as a real valued function on the sample space of a random experiment. See, it is also called chance variable or stochastic variable. See, in this we explain the random variable concept by a simple problem. See, here we got an example where in tossing a coin twice, if getting a head is considered as random variable, then its values are given as follows. See, getting number of heads when you toss a coin, so you get 0 if you are not getting a head, it takes the value 1 if you are getting 1 head. 1 head means we get HT, TH. So, the required value is 1. Similarly, for getting 2 heads, you give the value to be 2. Therefore, the values of random variable are given by x is equal to 0, 1, 2. And next one, we have 2 types of random variable. First one is called discrete random variable, second one is called continuous random variable. So, let us go to the first one, discrete random variable. See, discrete random variable we define as a random variable which takes discrete set of values, or we say it takes the integer values. Another example is number of printing mistakes in a page of a book. See, if you take a book, Britannica dictionary or any other book, the number of mistakes in the page is going to be considered as a discrete random variable. See, we never say that we got 2.5 mistake or 1.3 mistake like that. You say either 2 mistake or 1 mistake or 8 mistake like that, but never in decimal. Hence, we call this one as discrete random variable. See, in the second case, the number of telephone calls received per minute in a switchboard. See, how many calls you are receiving per minute. See, even if you purchase a new telephone booth, definitely you get 1 or 2 tones from the ringtone from the telephone exchange office itself. So, you cannot have a phone without a ringing tone. So, at least a minimum 1 or 2 calls you definitely you get. So, here the number of telephone calls received per minute is going to be the corresponding discrete random variable. Second one is we have got a continuous random variable. See, in this case for each of the value it takes a real value. See, here itself for each of the discrete random variable what is the corresponding probability function that is associated. See, whenever you say value of random variable, we wanted to know what is the probability of their existence. So, here for each value x of random variable we have an associated probability function p of x. So, you say this p of x to be a probability function if it satisfies the following 2 simple properties. First one, p of x is greater than or equal to 0. Second one, you are going to have p of b, p of a to be the corresponding non-negative. Second subdivision, total probability must be 1. See, in the discrete case each of the probability value should be greater than or equal to 0, it cannot be negative, and the total probability which we represent by sigma p of x must be equal to 1. And what are the other simple properties that we come across when we do problems on discrete random variables? First one is probability that x lies between 2 and 5 is given by p of 3 plus p of 4. See, when I say between 2 and 5, I cannot take the end points, and whatever the in between you got, and that too it should be an integer. So, such a case will be P of 3 plus P of 4. Second one, probability of x less than 3, 1 minus P of x greater than or equal to 3. Third one, probability that x lies between 1 and 3 including closed interval, that is P of 1 plus P of 2 plus P of 3. Now, let us move to the second part, which is called continuous random variable. As we have told already, it takes the random variable takes the real values. Example, you take the time at different destinations, then temperature at different places, etc. Each of them represents a continuous random variable. And the probability density function. See, whenever you take a continuous random variable, probability density function we denote by small f of x, and associated with each of these x there is a non decreasing function which is called f of x, and it is a PDF such that P of f of x greater than or equal to 0. Second subdivision is going to be the total probability is 1, and let us have simple properties of our probability function. First one is, whenever I say that x lies between a and b, the corresponding probability is given by integral a to b f x dx, and probability of a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b, that is also integral a to b f x dx, where f of x is probability density function. And third one is P of x greater than or equal to 3, that means you are taking above 3 up to infinity. So, 3 to infinity f of x dx, and the P of x less than or equal to 4 means you are going to have from lower limit to 4, but in this case the lower limit is minus infinity. So, we get minus infinity to 4 f of x dx, and the third one P of a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b, it is defined as integral a to b f x dx. So, per angle you have area between the lines x is equal to a and x is equal to b under the curve y is equal to f x, that is what this integral mean. And probability that x lies between minus 3 to minus 4, integral minus 3 to minus 4 f of x dx, we call this f of x as non-negative function. Second thing is probability distribution function. What is the meaning of distribution? Whenever you given any random variable x, we call this as cumulative distribution or simply probability distribution. It is defined as probability that x less than or equal to small x. It is defined as minus infinity to x f of x dx. Now, we see some of the important properties of distribution function. See, first one, P of a less than x less than b is capital F of b minus capital F of a. Second one, whether you take half closed or half open interval, the probability is going to be P of a plus f b minus f a. In the second case, f b minus f a minus P of b. And then we have what you call continuous case. See, in the continuous case, when I say x lies between a and b, the property is defined as before f b minus f a, and here I can take a less than or equal to x less than b, a less than x less than or equal to b, a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b, all the 4 means the same, and the capital F of minus infinity will be 0, f of plus infinity is 1, and whenever x less than or equal to y, f of x will be less than or equal to f of y. Now, let us have a summarization of what we have done in the preceding session. See, in this preceding session, we have learned about conditional probabilities, Bayes theorem and their simple applications, and then random variables and different types of random variables, and finally the distribution function. Thank you.